everyone, and welcome back inside the Varsity TV studios. I'm Amber Salas, back here again with Millery Ingallina. And Millery, we are fresh off another great weekend. Lots of exciting things to talk about today.
Yes, lots of exciting things. And then you were at Battle Under the Big Top this past weekend. What stood out to you? What was it like down there?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, not just at Battle Under the Big Top, but these competitions we're seeing all over, is how consistent these teams are. It's only December, and they're only going to keep getting stronger from here, which is just incredible.
That is incredible. Already seeing some consistency. Coming up here in a minute, we have all the details for you right here on the League by Varsity All-Star Weekly Series.
Definitely a busy weekend we're coming off of, but we have you covered with all the latest news in this week around the League by Varsity All-Star. The biggest thing I'm thinking about is these points. I know for a lot of these teams and programs, it's kind of their first big events of the season. They're more thinking about, we just want to get the jitters out of the way, see how we do. But no, I'm thinking about the points.
Mine's on the points.
Teams are picking up some big-time points. Some of them by the end of December could, if they went to two 600-point events and won both, they could already have 1,200 points. That's how you get ahead.
Yes, exactly. And then this past weekend, we had two 600-point opportunities, one in Atlanta where you were at Battle Under the Big Top, and then the other one in Houston at Encore Grand Nationals. Two opportunities this past weekend for teams to rack up 600 points at those events.
Yeah, so let's jump into some of these headlines here for some of these big events we're talking about. We'll start with Battle Under the Big Top Grand Nationals. Always a fun one. It was also the 20th anniversary this season, so lots of special moments there for a long time. We saw some great action, specifically that Southeast region. A lot of those big teams like the Stingray All Stars, ATA, Cheer Extreme Raleigh. There was great representation. Also some teams traveling in. I want to shout out Revolution Athletics coming all the way from Utah to Atlanta. They were great to watch, and you know, those level 6 teams are always fun. A lot of them put on a show, had a great showing, but I was really impressed with some of those D2 programs that also were looking strong and clean. Super fun to watch for sure.
Yes, and at Encore Grand Nationals, of course, we saw so many of our powerhouse Texas teams that we saw right here close to home in Texas, but also traveling from the West Coast, California All-Stars. We got to see some of those routines for the very first time, and you know, seeing how they stack against some of these Texas powerhouse teams. And Spirit of Texas, we got to see a look at Spirit of Texas for the very first time this season. I personally want to give a shout out to Royalty. Man, they are always so much fun to watch and already ahead of the game, already entertaining. And I know you had a little special shout out for them.
Yeah, that pyramid. They had this slow-mo transition back up. I saw that. The cheer world love to see that. I love to see it. I probably rewound it 100 times. But you also make a good point. The California All-Stars, that's a strategic move. Coming out from California, you said it, some of these Texas programs, very talented. So that's a great opportunity early on to see where you stand. So love to see that.
Yes, and then also we had America's Best Grand Nationals in Kansas City. Their level 6 senior small co-ed division really put on a show with Casey Cheer Fierce 5 and Twist and Shout Obsession, putting out some really incredible routines. Obsession ending up taking that 600 points there at the end. And, you know, we're going to have those other two teams are going to be must-watch teams throughout the season as well. So definitely don't sleep on this division. And, of course, a shout-out to Dakota Spirit Apollo coming all the way from South Dakota. What an incredible routine, 98-point routine. Again, a super far traveler all the way from South Dakota.
They always look clean too. Yes. I love watching Dakota Spirit. Also one more, how about over at Nation's Choice Grand Nationals? One division I had my eye on was that level 6 senior co-ed extra small division. Gym Time All-Stars Fever, they're the reigning world champions. Also no strangers to finding success in the League 6. They ended up taking the win for those 500 points at Nation's Choice Grand Nationals. But also Ice Lightning was incredible in that division as well. Second place, both those teams hit 0 on day 2. So that's another one we're going to be keeping an eye on all season long. Well, Millery, I know you know this quite well. I know the fans know this quite well, but the Level 6 Senior Large Division is always one of those must-watch fan favorites. It's been awesome right now because we've pretty much seen every one of these teams now take the stage at least once.
Yes, absolutely. And there's one team that's left quite the legacy, Stingray's All Stars Orange. They always have iconic stunts, amazing tumbling. And one thing that we've become really familiar with, their dance. So I believe you have something fun to share with us.
Yes, there's one dancer that kind of stole the show last year. She went a little viral, if you want to say. I love watching her. I know the fans all love watching her. It's Addy Watson from the Stingrays Orange with, of course, her iconic leap. I really want to just do it right now.
Amber wanted to try the leap a second ago.
I can't do it. I can still hear the music in my head from last year. Cheers for Orange. Go, Orange.
All right, here we go, Amber.
Well, Addy Watson is a senior this season on Orange. She's really living in the moment, wanting to make every last second count. We saw her this weekend at Battle Under the Big Top, and she does have a really special story. So we wanted to share that with you. Let's go take a look.
Hi, I'm Addy Watson, and I'm from the Stingray All Stars Orange. As a dancer my whole life, and I started tumbling literally from the beginning, and I had a little tumble class at my dance studio, and then I just fell in love with the whole tumbling aspect of things, and I wanted to get into the more competitive aspect. So Scott Eicher, he actually introduced me to cheerleading. So I started on my high school middle school comp team, and then I switched over to Stingrays, and my first team was Platinum. So I was on Platinum my first year, and then Green my second year, and then now this is my senior year on Orange, my fourth year. My coaches have known when I made Orange that I had a dance background, but we were let's just this year, going into cheer sports when we brought it out, and we were let's bring something to the table. So one of my coaches, Brandon, he showed me a video and was do you know how to do this? And I was yes, I do. I just did it, and then I never thought in a million years I would be here, everyone knowing what it was. So it was just such a cool experience to bring in my cheerleading and dance into one. Ava Lewis, my other coach, she posted a video on our TikTok, and it just kind of blew up. And then cheer sports, when we debuted it for the first time on the competition floor, and just coming off the stage, people started to know my name, and that's just not really normal. And I was Addy, and I was whoa, this is crazy. And it's just so fun to get to talk to even little girls who say they look up to me. I literally never would have thought that someone would say that I'm their role model. My dream was always to be on Orange, and I always will remember my mom telling me I made Orange, and it was the best day of my life, and it still to this day means everything to me. When I walk in those doors, everything just goes away. Any problems I have, it's out the door, and we're such a family. These are 38 sisters of mine, and we just really uplift each other.
Describe this year's dance to us.
Our dance music is swag surfing, which pretty much everyone knows. So that's my favorite part, because last year, yes, I had my own special part, but this year we kind of all 38 of us have our own little cool different scenarios. So that's my favorite part.
Well, one of our favorite things to see in our sport is the constant growth and development. New programs are always joining in the mix, and one of those programs is Designer Athletics from South Carolina. This is only their third season as a program, but last season was a big one for them. They had some awesome wins at some of those bigger events. They did really well at the Summit. Even in the league, they had a team, Fendi, who took the win in the D1 Junior Southeast region. And let me tell you, I got to see them at Battle Under the Big Top this weekend. Quite a few teams there, and they're already looking strong for this third season for them.
Yes, and they have a team back in the Level 6 division this year, and they actually got their first win this past weekend at Battle Under the Big Top in the Level 6 Limited Senior Extra Small Co-Ed division. Really great start for them, setting that momentum really well at the beginning of the season. I'm excited to see them throughout the rest of the season. And this past weekend, I think you got to catch up with them.
I did.
At Battle Under the Big Top. So let's take a look and check in with Designer Athletics Cartier Co-Ed.
Hi, I'm Kaya Filipovic. I'm with Designer Athletics Cartier Co-Ed. I'm a senior, and this is my 8th year of cheering.
Hi, I'm Kinley Campbell. This is my 3rd season with Designer Athletics and my 11th season cheering. Hey, my name is Amber Salas. I am one of the owners and coaches at Designer Athletics. I coach levels 1 through 6, and this is our 3rd season, and I'm so excited about this year.
This has been an amazing journey. I've been with Designer Athletics since its first year, and watching Cartier Co-Ed my first year was such an honor, and I'm so excited to bring it back this year because we are so ready. We are hungry in this division, and we want to win.
So the first year of Designer, we tried a level 6 team, and that just was not our year. And this year, we're making that happen. We're definitely going to go out there, do our best, and let Designer's name be known. We are getting all of our doubles ready to compete. All the level 6 stunting skills are going to be hitting at the top and ready to go.
So we tried to have level 6 our first year, and a lot of these athletes were a part of that group. And I think we found out after the first comp that we just weren't quite ready as much as we wanted to be. And we wanted our athletes to know that that's okay. Like, we don't have to be level 6 right away. We can really work on that and build some skills. So we took them down to level 5. We competed level 5 again last year. And so it was a really big honor and privilege for these kids to really work hard throughout last year and this summer to be able to be a level 16 this year. So I'm very proud of the work our athletes have put in to be at this level and to compete against these awesome athletes all over the country.
This time of the year, we really start to pick up at practices. We are repping like there's no tomorrow until we can't anymore. And after that, we are just adding on and building our stamina and building our strength so we can hit this routine to our full capacity.
We have the acronym DESIGN. It's discipline, excellence, strength, integrity, growth, and nobility. And we always put that into each practice.
What excites me the most about Cartier Co-Ed is they are the most respectful, kind, awesome group of kids. I truly think that they are a spectacular group of kids, and I think the sky is the limit for them. If they have a dream, I think this group of kids can achieve it. So I'm just excited to see where the season takes them.
Cartier Co-Ed picked up 600 points this past weekend for the league by Varsity All-Star, and their next stop is at Spirit of Hope in January. All right, coming off of another exciting weekend, we've got Alex Gajoli joining us again from Cheer Theory. Alex, it's so nice to have you on again. So last week we talked about all things hit percentages. What do you have for us after this past weekend?
Yeah, so heading into the second weekend of World's Bid events, we're seeing a lot of what we talked about last week and what we expected for the remainder of December. In the previous episode, we talked about hit percentages at World's Bid competitions, and we're back to see how teams performed this past weekend. So starting with Battle Into the Big Top, 21 Worlds teams competed. 2 teams hit 0 on Saturday and 3 teams hit 0 on Sunday. So we're looking at a 12% hit rate. At Encore Grand Nationals in Houston, there were 18 Worlds teams, and 2 of those teams hit 0 on day 1 and 7 hit 0 on day 2 for a 25% hit rate. Shout out to Top Gun Arizona, TGOC, and Woodlands Elite Black Ops for hitting 0 both days. It's pretty incredible. At America's Best Grand Nationals in Kansas City, 12 teams competed, and we saw 4 of those teams hit 0 on Saturday, and 2 of those teams hit 0 on day 2 for a 25% hit rate. Shout out to Twist and Shout Obsession. They were the only team to hit 0 both days and looked pretty good doing it. Super clean routine. And last but not least, at Nation's Choice in Wisconsin, 7 Worlds teams competed. 2 of those teams hit 0 on day 1 and 5 teams hit 0 on day 2. So that is a 50% hit rate for the weekend. Ice Lightning and Ice Starstruck both hit 2 0 deduction routines. And so far this season, we have both the highest and lowest competition hit rate since we started tracking this in the 2023-2024 season. So I think we have an interesting season ahead of us.
So you'd say, looking at both of these hit percentages, would you say that these teams are, in a good spot as far as hit percentages, or they still have a little work to do and a little bit more of a ways to go throughout the season?
I think we have a little bit of room to grow here. I mean, a 12% hit rate is a bit below the 25 to 28 that we saw last season, but you also have a 50% hit rate at another event. So all in all, I think that we will end December in the same place that we did last season, and it will just get better from here.
All right, and you're always keeping an eye on the best teams to watch, the teams that are doing the best. Any shout outs you want to give after this past weekend?
Yeah, for sure. So Woodlands Elite's Worlds teams had a standout day 2 at Encore. All 3 of their teams, Generals, Black Ops, GA Jeans, all hit 0 on day 2 and took home first place finishes. Black Ops had the highest score at Encore of the Worlds teams, and Generals was right there behind them with the second highest score, which secured them their full paid bid. And it was just really fun to watch all 3 of those teams, perform at their best. And I always say that Woodlands competes with a very distinct intensity, and that was on full display this weekend. And then if we're flipping over to America's Best in Kansas City, I think we saw another dark horse emerge. Cheer St. Louis Archangels had 2 great performances, competing in the limited small senior co-ed division, and their routine is super fast-paced, it's dynamic, and I think crowds are really going to enjoy it as the season progresses. So they took home first place in a division of 4 and secured their full pay bid to Worlds. And, we saw a lot of great cheerleading across the country, but those are the 2 highlights that I have for you.
Well, we love it when Cheer Theory takes us to class. We've got a couple of weeks before the new year, so we won't be back here for the League by Varsity All-Star Weekly Series until after the new year. But Alex, we can't wait to catch up then. We've got American Grand coming up, so it's always a pleasure having you on, and we'll talk to you after the new year.
Thanks for having me, Millery.
Well, to break this down even further, let's take a look now at one of our personal favorite new touches for the season, the Hit 0 meter, and also our division recaps. First, we want to take a look at a division from Battle Under the Big Top. That's the Level 6 Senior Extra Small division. There's a couple new faces joining the division this season, and we got to see 2 of them at Battle Under the Big Top. That would be the Stingray All Stars Purple and ATA Genesix. So let's take a look at how this one played out. First place went to the Stingray All Stars Purple. Welcome to the division. They came out and made a statement here at Battle Under the Big Top. They hit 0 on day 2, picking up those 600 points to the League by Varsity All-Star. And I think the biggest thing is a big win like this early on in the season is only giving them that momentum. They're new to this division. They came out already with a solid performance, so it's only going to be up from here. In second place was Cheer Extreme Raleigh XSS Tropics, and in third place was ATA Genesix. So that was a fun one to see. I personally love seeing the new faces in the division. It kind of gave us our first taste of what we can keep an eye on with that division.
Yes, for sure. And so now, like Amber was saying, one of our special touches on this season, we're going to take a look at the Hit 0 meter that we've been keeping an eye on all season long. So just a little bit more about how this works. So say, for example, Team A has competed at 2 competitions, 2 two-day competitions. So that means they've competed a total of 4 times. 2 times during competition 1 and 2 times during competition 2. Competition 1, they hit 0 both days, but competition 2, maybe they struggled a little bit and they didn't hit 0 during either of those days. Their Hit 0 meter is now going to be at 50% because they've hit 2 competition days and they have not hit 2 competition days. So pay attention throughout this season. Our competition hit meter is going to move as these teams compete week to week. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they do week after week and how this meter adjusts to how they're doing throughout the season.
Yes, perfect explanation there. So now that you have a little bit of that in your knowledge right here, let's take a look at some teams that we saw this weekend. Let's start off with the Stingray All Stars Peach, the Level 6 Senior Medium Division at Battle Under the Big Top. That's where they were this weekend. They had a few issues on day 1 with a stunt fall, but an overall incredible routine. They finished day 1 with 1.25 in deductions, but they came back determined on day 2, hit 0. It was an awesome performance. They also took first place in that division. They've also competed one other time this season at a 1-day cheer sport event. So that means they've competed 3 days so far this season. All right, so let's bring Millery back in here to break this one down for us. Peach, they've now competed 3 days so far this season. What's their Hit 0 meter going to be at?
So if they've competed 3 times this season and they've hit one of their routine, 2 of the other routines were not Hit 0 routines, but we have 1 hit performance, that puts them at 33%. So that's 1/3 of their routines that they've hit. That's a 33%. If you want to get really technical, it's 33.33%. But as we continue throughout the season, we'll see that adjust whenever they compete more, get more opportunities. So I'm sure we'll see that number go up and up and up as Peach takes them out more often.
Yeah, and also keep in mind, we're just getting really technical here. Sometimes it's something as big as little as a 0.5 deduction. That's a near perfect routine, but we're taking cheerleading to the next level here and bringing in some stats to make this fun. So let's take a look at a few more. We also had Encore Grand Nationals. Alex mentioned this one to us, Woodlands Elite Black Ops. So fun to watch. They hit 0 both days at Encore. So a perfect 100% if we're speaking just for Encore, but that was not their only event so far this season. They were also at Spirit Celebration Christmas Grand Nationals. So that's another 2-day event. That means that they have now performed 4 different times this season. They did not hit perfect 0 at Spirit Celebration Christmas. They did at Encore. So we're at 2 out of 4. We got a 50%.
50%. We're at 50% hit percentage. So they're already doing better. So we'll see. I'm sure that adjusts some more as we go throughout the season.
Yeah, so this is where it becomes fun. We're going to keep an eye on Black Ops all season. We'll see how that meter changes. Last one we want to talk about here is Dakota Spirit Apollo in the Level 5 Senior Small Division. They were at America's Best Grand Nationals this past weekend, all the way from South Dakota. They're also the reigning Summit champions, and they had an awesome showing. They hit 0 on day 2 of America's Best Grand Nationals, had a minor deduction on day 1, 0.25, but they also hit 0 at the 2024 Cheer Sport Council Bluffs Classic as well. So that means they've performed their routine 3 days so far. They've hit 2 out of 3 of those routines. So Millery, where does that land them on this hit 0 meter?
They currently have 66% on the hit 0 meter. They've hit 2 out of their 3 performances. So of course 2/3 and percent 66%. And I'm sure we'll see that adjust throughout the season as well.
Yeah, so this is really forcing us to do some math here. But again, we're early on, only a couple of competitions under our belt. So I'm so excited to think about come April when we have all of these big events under us. That's going to give us a full season look at how these teams did.
Yes, and it's really going to show who is consistent throughout the season. That's the main goal here with this hit 0 consistency meter. Is right now, we're going to see a lot of your 50% and maybe your 33s, but the more we go throughout the season and the further we get towards the end of the season, we're going to actually see who has maintained their consistency throughout the routines this season.
Yeah, and even we can keep track of things, like maybe they dipped down a little bit, but maybe that's because they added more difficulty in their routine as the season went on. Those are all those type of things that we'll be keeping an eye on. It's time now for the question of the week. Last week we asked you all what level 6 world level team you all thought would score the highest at Battle Under the Big Top. So before we reveal the answer of what you all thought and who did end up scoring the highest this weekend, we actually asked some people on the ground at Battle Under the Big Top what they thought. So let's go take a listen.
We're the Stingray All Stars Mango, and I think Electric is going to be the highest scoring level 6 team today.
Okay, I think Neon's gonna have the highest score today.
I think Purple's gonna have the highest score this weekend.
I also think Electric's gonna have the highest score this weekend.
I also think Purple's gonna have the highest score this weekend.
We're ATA J-Bombs, and I think Code Black from Cheer Extreme is gonna get the highest level 6 score.
I think Stingray All Stars Electric's gonna get the highest score.
I think Stingray's Electric is gonna get the highest score. I think Stingray's Electric is gonna get the highest.
Hi, I'm Kinley from Premier Athletics Columbia, and I think Atomic's going to have the highest score of the weekend.
All right, there you have it. Here is how you voted online with our top 3 answers. 26% of you said Cheer Extreme Raleigh SSX, 23% of you said Cheer Extreme Raleigh Code Black, and 16% of you all said ATA Atomic. The level 6 team with the highest score at Battle Under the Big Top Grand Nationals was Stingray All Stars Peach with the 96.8375.
All right, awesome. That was a fun one there to kick us off. But this week we have a new one for you, so don't forget, scan this QR code right now. That'll take you to Varsity TV to vote and join in along with us. Remember, we're relying on you to tell us all what you think. But this week we're looking ahead to the American Grand Nationals. We want to know, which program as a whole do you think will have some of the highest scores collectively as a program at the American Grand Nationals? That's in Las Vegas, Nevada. So don't forget, Go vote right now. It's live, and you can scan this QR code to get you there.
Yep, here's that QR code again. That takes you to tv.varsity.com. Go put your vote in, and we'll reveal it after the new year.
Yes.
After the new year, right here on the League by Varsity All-Star Weekly Series.
Well, we have 1 weekend left of action here in December before we flip the page to 2025. I cannot believe that that's already almost here.
Yes, I know. Super Nationals events are just around the corner.
They are.
Also, right after the new year, the leaderboard drops, so keep an eye out for the leaderboard. We're going to have so much fun right here on the League by Varsity All-Star Weekly Show once that leaderboard does drop.
That's where it really begins.
Yes, yes. And then also during Spirit Cheer, we will have our live show right here in the Varsity TV studio during the event. So be sure to tune in on January 12th. During Spirit Cheer, we'll have all the league information, all the fun right here in the studio. It's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, we can't wait for all that fun. But before we go, let's take a look real quick at the schedule for this upcoming weekend. You can of course find these always on tv.varsity.com and click on the schedules tab. We have America's Best Indie Challenge worth 500 points, Champs Grand Nationals also worth 500 points, and the American Grand Nationals, that one is worth 600 points.
All right, we've got a lot coming up. Just want to say good luck to teams competing this weekend. We will see everyone after the new year right back here on the League by Varsity All-Star. I believe it's January 9th.
Yes,
we'll be back.
Taking a little break for the holidays. We hope you all enjoy as well, but we can't wait to be back here with you come 2025.
Yep, see you January 9th.